I'm well. To anybody that has inquired, thank you very much. I'm back to being the same VW freak I was before the crash. I am retired officially from drag racing. Yeah, so, and Amber, what did you do last summer?
Well, we'll get into that. I wanted to start with saying that we're really glad to see that you are well. And you are so much yourself that I'm not quite sure what to do with all of it. But last summer was huge for me. There was a lot of pressure and a lot of goading and a lot of guilting and a lot of convincing from Ron, but I took the jump and went to Europe. So we went out for Hesjes Oldendorf, we went out for the European Bug-In. Hesjes was amazing. Ron put us, because he couldn't come, put us in touch with a couple people. So Pang showed us around, was sort of our personal guide. He was awesome. The Grubmans put on an amazing event when they run the whole town. The church had a concept car right in the middle of the church. We got to go out to the museum. I got to pose with all these great cars, historical cars, the Animal Crackers car. That's a California car, right? Yeah. I got to pose with that one, take a bunch of fun pictures.
That actually belonged to Chris Cox, who is no longer with us.
Yep. So we did the VW factory tour. We went to Pat's Speed Shop. We went to the Flatline DubRiderz open house.
All the good things. Super
fun. And then we made our way, this is the abridged version, but we made our way down and we got to Chimay for the European Bug-In. Stayed in the Calip Castle. Crystal is an absolute dream. She's just one of the sweetest people I've met out there, anywhere, really. And so EBI was, it's like a California event, like on all the steroids, not just like on steroids, but all of them. And you weren't wrong. Mike Walravens, Freddie Peters, they put on an amazing show. The hospitality was everywhere. So I ran into people I've only known online. So Jim Dix was out there, and I kind of dropped hints. I wanted to put myself in a race car, and he said I could drive his car. He's got a right-hand drive 67 Cowlook.
Yep.
That was so much fun.
Which is all good except for shifting left-handed is...
Everything's exactly the same. It's just your trained response is to go to the right. But I got down the track in one piece, and he still got to drive at 500 miles home. So I didn't break anything, but I got to do something I've never done. Lots of things I've never done. And then I met up with all the Russell Ritchie, his crew, Martin,
good
as you like to say.
Martin.
He loves that. And then I got interviewed trackside with Dimitri and Paul, translated into French for the whole Bug-In. It was super cool. My poor husband comes over the hill. He had been out in the swamps, and he's trying to get a picture before it's done. He said, I left you alone for 5 minutes. And I said, imagine what I could do with 10. So I was walking through the pits, and Martin takes me over and says, he found me a race car to go down the track in. And I said, okay, let's go. And he points to this like dragster, and I was like, sure, I'll try that. And he's like, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
And they had pulled the Animal Crackers car out of the museum and brought it down to the track and needed a driver, and I got to play the part.
Yeah, I drove that one year at European Bug-In.
I know, I signed right next to your name
So,
in the dash.
So I want to make a little shout out here to the European Bug-In guys, Mike and Freddie. They do a fantastic job. I only wish our Bug-Ins could have 24,000 people, but anyway, we have a great Bug-In over here too. We'll get into the schedule for next year, but basically, I just said something about Chris Cox, who used to own, and he's no longer with us. I don't want to forget to talk about Mark Tremblay, who we lost this year, who was way back, drove and raced the California Sting, and then became a big technical guy, and did all the tech for the Triple Crown Series. And we know that you're up there checking all the race cars in heaven, and we wish you all the best, Mark Tremblay. We miss you, brother. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I did have another trip this year.
Yes.
So Scott Vaccaro runs the VW Nationals back in Maryland.
Yep.
Reached out and invited me to go, and I thought, well, sure, I'll go. So I've gotten to know a bunch of the back east guys because they've come out here for some events. And I went back there. I went to Bob Cook's open house. Super funny story. I met Bob in Europe, and we're sitting across the table from him, and I said, oh, you're from Maryland? And he said, yes. And I said, I'm coming to your party next month. And his jaw dropped, and he said, what? And I said, yeah, I'm coming to your party next month. So
nice.
Went to the open house. I got to go down. They have a quarter-mile track. They do a few things differently that I thought was pretty cool. Like they run these gassers in one of the rounds. big, not Volkswagen cars, and it warms up the track. It's kind of a crowd pleaser, but gives
Little
everybody
rubber on the track.
gives
never
everybody a
hurts.
little time to cool down too in between races. So that was super fun. They had 76 racers, 120 show cars, really, really well run event, and I got put in another race car. So Art and Neri Racing, Art and Amy, their daughter wasn't going to come, so they said, why don't you drive it? So I got to go down, I got through first round eliminations. I got to race down the track a little bit and play with a quarter mile again, which is fun for me. And then I met this club back there that they're all part of. So the club logo on the race car I had was the Filthy Buggers. These guys, I tell you, it was just like hanging out with my group, my club. They were so funny, so inappropriate. It was perfect. So
We like inappropriate.
it was great, and it felt like being at home. So
Wow.
3 huge events for me. I had a banner somewhere to say the